All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the most of your symptom tracker. We always say that one of the most important things that we are looking at, in fact, I would say, yes, the most important thing we're looking at for your treatment is symptom reduction. My goal is not changing your EEG, it's making sure that your symptoms are being resolved. How do we know that? Because we've set a baseline. So you're about to go through a list of about 100 symptoms. And for each one of those symptoms, here's what I want you to do. Use this chart and answer the question, how much of a problem is this symptom in my life? Now, that's the fundamental question. And sometimes people will ask, well, what do you mean? If you just simply ask that question of the symptom again, oftentimes the question resolves itself. Now, when you do this, I want you to answer the question with a number. And the number will be between 0 and 10, where 0 means it's never a problem whatsoever, and 10 means it cannot possibly be worse. It's the worst of all possible problems. And as you're coming up with a number in between, you're going to use these categories: severity, frequency, the impact it has on your life, in order to kind of zone in on a number that makes the most sense. So if you think automatically off the bat, it's a mild symptom, it will be in the 1, 2, or 3 category. Ones for frequency are almost never. The impact of a 1 on your life is barely noticeable. So a 3, while still mild, would be characterized as infrequent and inconveniencing. These are the kinds of symptoms that you're pretty sure they're there and you know they're there, but they're okay. You can handle them just fine. By the time you get to 4, 5, or 6, now you're thinking it's a moderate symptom. 4s are sometimes, 6s for frequency or most of the time. Now, 4s become frustrating. These are things that are a little bit different from the 3 because you know they're there, they dog you a bit, and you'd get rid of the darn thing if you could. I just don't really like it, but I can cope with it, okay? By the time you get to a 6, that's now exhausting. These are symptoms that take every ounce of your energy to manage. Oh my gosh, are these things unpleasant? They stink. Oh my, I would love to get rid of this darn thing, but it's not quite debilitating, certainly not on a regular basis. Just really, really nasty. But now by the time it gets to be debilitating, that's the hallmark of a severe symptom. Severe is going to be the 7, 8, or 9. It happens just about all the time or chronically. It's going to impact multiple areas of your life to the extent that you can't quite function the way you want to. The difference is between a 7 and a 9, well, how much does it debilitate me? 7 means, at the very least, I'm debilitated on a regular basis and cannot function the way I want to. A bugger. By the time you get up to 9, we're talking about something that takes every ounce of your energy to handle, to manage. It's literally just a Herculean effort to get up out of bed and deal with your day. All right, so just a couple of caveats that I would give to this at this point in time. I want you to be aware that I am only looking for what we would consider to be the clinically relevant symptoms. Okay, now my definition of clinically relevant is a 6 or higher. Now you're going to like me for this little caveat once we start doing the review work, because this means that if you give something a 5 or less, we'll never visit it again. We're only going to review something that you give a 6 or higher, because people really are only going to come to the Neurofeedback Center to treat something that is characterized as a 6 or higher. Okay, and when I say that we want a 50% reduction in your overall symptomology, what I mean is we're going to find all of them that you have as a 6 or higher, and we're going to average those symptoms out, and then we're going to see those cut in half. So for a lot of people, I'm just going to say, for instance, maybe you have 35 symptoms out of 100 that were scored as a 6 or higher, and it averages out to a 7.2. Our goal for treatment is to get you from a 7.2 down into a 3.6 area. Now, that's pretty darn significant. I mean, I don't know if this is lost on you, but basically what that means is a 50% reduction means we're going from severe down to mild. That's what I want. In fact, my goal personally is to get everybody down in the 3 or less range. I want everybody to say their symptoms are mild. That's our goal. The second thing that I say, and this is more of a bit of advice for you, okay, I want you to generalize your answer. People will ask me, they'll say, well, when? When are you talking about? Number one, I'm not talking about a historic symptom. When I was 7 years old, I had a panic attack. Well, if you don't have them now, don't score it as a problem. Okay, that's kind of a simple one. But the other thing is sometimes people get caught up in either the super highs or the low lows. Okay, Use the super highs and the low lows of that symptom presentation to figure into your number, but don't use them as the basis of your number. You want to average it out. Come to something that makes sense. Work it through. Okay, it happens an awful lot. It's very frequent, but its impact on my life is barely noticeable. All right, maybe we're looking at a lower 4 or a 5. Or maybe you would push it up. But I also say to folks, keep in mind that if 6 is what we track or higher, if you want to track it, it has to have a 6. If that's something that you want to keep an eye on and see come down, at least give it the 6. So those two main things are really important. 6 and up are what we track, and you want to try and generalize. In general, if you need a time frame, you can say over the course of the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in the last couple of weeks, how much of a problem has this been in my life? And you'll come up with some great numbers. So that's our instructions. So go for it, and we'll review it soon.